So, as we know, mainstream media, faith in the mainstream media has certainly plummeted, and fair to say that it's kind of done it to itself, right? There's certainly a lot of reason as to why that has happened, and at the same time, what has happened is that lots of let's call them media pioneers have arrived, and they've sort of exploited that minimized trust, and they either call themselves independent journalists and they report exclusively on platforms like Twitter, sometimes on YouTube, which I think requires a little bit more effort, but anyways, some of them create publications, some of them are actually good, but some of them are full funded, full-fledged operations. But regardless how they arrive, um, I feel like there's a lot of people out there that because they don't trust the mainstream media, have by default started trusting these new arrivals on the scene. And again, some of them are actually pretty good. So I'm not going to call them all terrible, but some of them are awful. and But this isn't about that. Um, what worries me, what really concerns me, is that because of the distrust, and this automatic trust was given to a lot of charlatans and a lot of sort of alternative facts. Anything that's not mainstream, by default, in some people's minds, has become true, right? They are giving you the true version. They are giving you the truth because they are going against the establishment. And what's concerning there's a lot of people who think that they're spending a lot of time doing a lot of research because they're reading all these other resources. They're going deep. They're digging into all these rabbit holes, into all these like Twitter chains and Reddit and 4chan and who knows what else. And these other websites and YouTube personalities that they've come to love and trust and respect, and what they're getting is completely false information because they don't know how to do critical analysis. They are not very well informed. And if they're approaching difficult subjects, they don't actually do the difficult research that it takes. They don't go and read actual research papers. They don't learn, say, the science, because a lot of things in our world are actually very complicated things. And I'm not saying you shouldn't do your own research. I'm not saying you shouldn't learn things. But if you're going to learn things, if you're going to dig deep, you should dig deep, and you should understand, you should realize that there is a complexity behind a lot of things. You don't become an expert by rehashing something that somebody else on the internet said who has some dubious credentials. And by credentials, I mean, you don't just by writing something out, you don't become an immediate expert in it. You need to have, a really thorough, deep understanding of the subject matter. And yet there's so many, like, we'll call them talking heads, whether they're talking on, spaces, or they're talking on a YouTube channel or a podcast, um or just writing on Twitter, and they claim to be experts in just about everything, but they lack the basic knowledge, whether it's science or technology or politics. And yet people listen to them and they repeat what they're saying and they spread that over and over again. And they tell other people that they're sheep, that they're stupid to follow the mainstream. I believe in verifying things. I believe in consulting the smartest people you can find, the people who really know their stuff, who've really studied it. And know what? Some things, there's a reason why there is such a thing as expertise. And that expertise isn't necessarily because somebody went to an Ivy League school, but it is because somebody has taken a lot of time to study things, because some things really are complex and take a lifetime to learn. And people forget that, they dismiss that, they see that as elitist. But you know what? It's not. It's true. There are some things that I will never speak about because I will not understand it, because I have not taken the time to study these things. Just don't have, or I don't have that ability. It's just not in my scope of things. And that's okay. And I'm going to maybe consult with someone else who does. But that is a dangerous thing, to think you know things you don't. And we really need to look at, we need to think back about this, because this loss of trust is a very dangerous thing. And I get why we lost the trust. It's, it's, I get it. And it will take forever maybe to get it back. But in the meantime, people need to be smarter and more, and really make effort, not be lazy about how they look at resources and how they do research and who they trust, and not trust things blindly just because they are alternative. And those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think.